Troubleshooting.org. In today's video, live from Pune, India. I hope that the video stream quality is okay. It might be a little bit choppy. It might be pretty bad. The internet in this fine establishment runs at 7 megabits per second. So I turned down the video to 720. I turned down all the settings, right? So yeah, the internet runs at 7, and yes, the food situation is tough. In any case, my name is Chris Palmer. If you have any questions related to local SEO, Google Maps, off page, on page, pretty much anything or everything pertaining to search engine optimization, search marketing, local marketing, I would be happy to help you out. With that being said, I'll broadcast your comments live. I can't really share a screen and do any of that kind of stuff. It's tough. It's rough. It's rough. It's rough, man. Ladies and gents here, nothing to show yet. It's dark out. I woke up like 2 hours ago, starving. In any case, here, I'm going to go through some of your questions. We'll see if you have any. All right. Here, I got to fix this. It'll drive me crazy. All right. So, looking at some of the comments, let's take a look together. All right. And I'll be happy to answer them with you. All right. All right. Here's a great question here. So here's the question here related to this video. And he says, can I do this if I have a storefront and people are coming to you? Can you do this if you have a storefront and people are coming to you? I assume what he's pertaining to in that particular video is I made a video where I was outlining the radius, which is for you to intake internally for your own self, for your own well-being, right? You're understanding that Google for Maps is only going to reward you with so much radius, proximity. You know, I think long gone are the days, unless there's no competition or you're in a weak market, of getting 30, 40-mile radiuses. Even if you're not showing your address, Google still knows where your address is because you gave it to them, right? So with that being said, can you do this if you have a storefront? Of course. What I was trying to convey to somebody that was learning SEO is before you start your SEO campaign, have a clear and distinct plan in your mind with your team, with your squad, with your family before you begin. Before you start, don't just have a small mindset of, hey, I want to target this 2-mile radius, because as time progresses and as you're getting organic leads or you're getting Maps leads, it's never going to be what you thought it was going to be. It's not going to be as much as you want it to be. So my recommendation is from the very beginning, lay the foundation to be able to take over more space for yourself. What I mean by more space is be able to target more of a circumference of an area of a geolocation. All right. So you have to have that mindset from the very beginning, in my opinion. So that's that. All right. Next question. So this comes from I am Ravida. Thank you, sir, for that question. Thank you for your insights. One question. Can I use a single... Uh-oh. Jeez Louise. Like I said, the internet here is unacceptable. I mean, dude, I booked multiple days so I could do some work here. Man, like the internet. See, there's 2 things that you need as a SEO. Well, 3, right? For me, I need caffeine. There's none. There's like none. It's void. It's void and non-present. When I went down, I went to get a cup this big. Here, check this out. Here, let me show you something. This cup here. Look at, here's my phone. This is a mini, right? Look at half the size. $4.50. They whacked me. right? 450 rupees or whatever. And I was like, what? You know, and you guys, if you know me, you know I'm very, very frugal. So, you know, $4 US for a half a pint of coffee or whatever this would be. Not cool. Red Bull, they don't have non-sugar free. I'm crying. Who else am I going to cry to, right? We'll cry together. We'll cry together. Stop crying. All right. Anyway, let's go back to your questions. All right. All right. If you have any too, please put them in the chat. I'll be more than happy to answer them for you right here live. We'll do it together. I could see here that it's here. I went away, and you could see, I'm not going to show anything else, but you could see I stopped running advertising because I went on a trip and I just bloop, fell off a cliff. YouTube yelling at me like, hey, something's wrong here. Oh, that's funny, man. In any case, I was bored out of my mind. I woke up at 2 o'clock, right? 2 o'clock in the morning here, right? I'm freaking wandering around. The dude's like, sir, please go to your room. I'm like, I know, dude, but I'm losing my mind in here. I woke up at 2 o'clock. I was wandering around. I was like, hey, is this like gym open? Maybe I'll go for a walk, ride a bike. You know, is the pool open? No, not here. I was like, all right, can I get some Red Bulls? No. Sure, we have some Red Bulls, but you have to wait. Dude. Bananas, dude. Anyway, I don't see anything here. Maybe I'm missing it here. Let me click this button over here. La la la. All right. If you please put them in. I'm really looking. I'd like to talk about SEO. Answer your questions. I mean, it's my favorite thing to talk about and to dwell on. So hopefully we can do that together. I'll answer the questions that are here. I apologize. I was clicking around. It wasn't allowing me to open the questions. Okay, here we go. All right. Read more. Okay. So we have another question here. This comes from I'm Ravida. All right. I'm Ravida. It was on the On Page SEO Perfect for Beginners 2025 video that I just released before I left. One question. Can I use a single image on multiple pages of my website, or will it create a duplicacy issue? Okay. Excellent question. So here's what I know about this. See, an image could look the same, but if the hash of the image is identical, it's the same image. So if you want to use the same image, my personal opinion on this, if you want to lays out, because I mean, with AI and stuff, it's so easy to create images, get images. Images are dirt cheap right now. If you want to be lazy and you want to utilize the same images, that's perfectly fine. But there has to be a change at least to one of the pixels within the image, and maybe a name change. So the title, the alt text, and the hash, most notably, of the image will be unique. Well, why? Because Google is rewarding authority and trust, right? Authority and trust comes with consistency, right? You can't be an expert or be trusted if you have the same stuff over and over again, especially if you're launching out these location pages with the same content, with geo-modified content. It's pretty much the same. Plus, on top of that, you're adding the same image that doesn't even have a unique hash. You didn't even change the alt text or the title of the image or the description of the image. You didn't change any of the factors of the image. Why would this be a quality? This is not recommended. So if you want to be lazy, at least change one of the pixels, change out the title, change out the alt text, right? And then, of course, you'll make unique schema markup for that image within the page, right? And this would be my recommendation, but if you want to be lazy, I don't think it's in your best interest in 2025 to be lazy. I really don't. What I feel in my heart and what I know from repetition is that you want to go, if you have to, go and generate images, unique content to the SERP that services the intent is what you need. All right. So to answer this question without all the extras, no, I don't believe that you should utilize the same image for your pages. I think it's unnecessary. All right. So thank you for that. And it's not that it's going to cause a duplication or in this, I don't even know if this is a word, duplicacy issues. I love you, man. Thank you for the question, by the way. No. Dude, and it's so crazy. The auto text. No, don't use same images. Very simple. All right, moving on. Please get your questions in. I see that one or two people have asked a question. David Nagreet says, yo, Happy New Year. Thank you, David. Happy New Year to you, sir. I mean, we're 11 days in at this point. CBR, same general approach to SEO in 2025 or any important tweak shifts that you have identified? So I think the overemphasis on unique or quality is definitely playing a part. Servicing the intent of the SERP is massively important. So high commercial intent, servicing the intent with, like, for instance, taking a high commercial intent page and then packing in FAQs is not a good idea for me at this point, right? If the intent is high commercial, then the page and all of its contents are commercial intent. So this is a small shift, right? So I think that's one of the things that I would take into account. Also, on top of this, yeah, AI is helpful. I think you should really take a look at grounding the AI in search results, I think, moving forward. Or, like, I don't know if tuning a LLM is going to be in our best interest because of time and dollars or whatever your currency is. But, you know, with some unique advancements, I think that you can get some really high quality content out of AI that will actually rank and not just rank for the short term and then fall out of the SERPs, like we all know happens quite consistently. The reason why I think it happens is because whatever that model is, like, you might have got there first, but then how many reproductions of that same verbiage have came out of that model? I don't know. Who knows? I don't know. So think of all the millions of people that are using, let's just say, ChatGPT, that have gone in there and put, what does an SEO do? Right? How many different ways do you think ChatGPT could say that? I don't know. But in any case. So to answer your question, some small tweaks. I think take your time, focus on quality, double down on ads. Mastery of ads is going to be wildly important. Understanding and utilizing AI to your advantage. Don't let it do all of the work, but help it, allow it to help you. I think is going to be part of the approach moving forward. For myself, I think just staying in the weeds and understanding what's actually working, narrowing down the processes in which it takes to rank. Like, let's just say if we've been normally doing 100, I want to cut that down to, say, 5. I know that's impossible, but that's the general objective. Be more precise. Anyway, I don't see any questions here. Keep rolling. All right, 6:30. All right, so I got a question on here from Iftakekavar. I can't pronounce it, but there it is. Oh, wait, is that backwards? Right hand? Here. Let me see if I can. Here, can you read that now? Ikadefabar. I can't pronounce it. But he left me a question. And what he asked is, awesome review, Chris. One of my colleagues also tried this, and it has given the most pathetic results ever. This is referencing Money Robot Submitter local directory case study that I did. And he wrote, awesome review, Krish, Chrissh. One of my colleagues also tried that, and it has given the most pathetic results ever. Personally, I do not recommend using any automate link building software. Well, thank you for the question, right? I think utilizing it, well, to the point of this particular comment here related to local directory case study that I did for Money Robot, I have to agree that it was less than quality indexation or SERP result indexation, right? Like, why would Google reward a tool that it knows is spitting out who knows how many different backlinks, right? This will drive me crazy because now it's backwards. All right, here, I got to switch this. However, there is absolutely no question in my mind, though, that utilizing, even if they're the lowest quality automated link building, even if it's some of the lowest quality stuff ever, quality is subjective depending on who you're speaking to. Like a pretty logo and a nice layout to me doesn't necessarily scream quality. But hey, to each their own. With that being said, I think that automated link building has a significant place in keeping particular link types indexed. For instance, or let's take a look at a press release. So you create your press release, only the most authoritative assets generally will show up, and then, or at least not at first, all of them show up, right? What I'm talking about is in the SERPs. As time progresses, only the most authoritative will remain in the search engine results, correct? Right? I know without a shadow of a doubt, even the lowest quality of automated links can help assist keep more of your pages indexed, right? So that tells me that they're, even though they're of the lowest quality, and even though they're not indexed in the search results, that they still are being counted somewhere in the algorithm. So with that being said, a lot of these tools are very low cost. A lot of these tools are easy to use. A lot of these tools have 1,000,001 gigs online that are so cheap that if I can get a benefit for $5, it's worth $5, right? Do I think that these automated tools are what's going to help you win? Not at all. So hopefully it helps you out. So this gentleman here, Jagdev Singh, I don't want to butcher your name, but I appreciate you taking the time to ask a question. How to solve this discovered, currently not indexed. So Google has saw your piece of content, but they have decided that it will not show inside of the search results. I think that that tag that you're seeing in Search Console is speaking volumes to you about what you are submitting, right? So I think instead of whatever you're doing is not up to par, my friend. What I mean by par is it does not meet the quality spec that Google is looking for, as opposed to, or in contrast to what's actually still showing up inside of the search. So it's either your domain is not authoritative enough, you're putting out too much too fast, it's really low quality AI, there's bad internal linking, there's no schema markup, there's no images. If there is images, they're duplicate images or they're stock. Like, there's no quality benefit to the content that you're submitting. Google has saw it and has spoken, and they said, you know what? This we saw it, but man, it's not going to get indexed. So how do you solve this? What I would take some time doing is crafting a better piece of copy, taking a look at that copy, crafting a much better. If you're using outdated or sluggish or old LLMs, then I would really look at fine-tuning and or grounding your copy so it actually produces something that's worthwhile or legible. On top of this, if you're cranking it out really fast, Google, I mean, they are arguably some of the smartest of all, right? They're the richest. So I think if you're putting out content at a rapid pace, how quality could it be, right? I would slow down the amount of time that you're putting stuff out. I would take a look at how you're producing the content. I would take a look at your internal linking structure. I would look at where it's at in the perma structure, the page that you're submitting. I would also take a look at, is my page equal to what is being produced or Google is rewarding currently? Like, do you have the right word counts? Is the density right? Like, are you optimized properly? Is there enough entities? Is the LSIs on point? Like, do you actually have a good piece of copy? Yay or nay? Obviously, Google says no. I've put out hyper crap, literally zeros, literally all zeros, and Google will take that. So that tells me that there is a quality metric that's being put forth when Google is doing a first scan. They're looking at images. They want to know how many. Are they actually unique? Is the copy unique? It's your copy, my friend. All right. I don't know. I've said it 3 separate ways now, and I hope that it registers with you, my friend. And hopefully it helps. You have a good day, sir. All right. Yo, Chris, what are you doing? Starving. I'm freaking starving. That's what I'm doing. I'm starving to death. I'm in India. They don't have sugar-free Red Bull. They don't have any energy drinks. There's not a freaking restaurant in sight. There's no Uber Eats. There's no food, no caffeine, and the internet runs at 7 megabits per second. What am I doing? I might as well get a pull-up bar in here and get a cot. No, but I'm hanging out answering questions for you. That's what I'm doing, right? I have to occupy my mind. But in the meantime, I was adding some new slides to my presentation that I'm going to give here at the SEO conference in India. I want to give some new material along with some of the best from other presentations. So I'm going to, if there's 12 pieces of information, I'm going to give 6 new, right? It's all new to this audience, but for me to deliver it, I want to make sure that it's top notch. With that being said, what else am I doing? Oh, I'm working, before I leave here, I want to make sure that Gray Hat SEO is up and running the way I want. I'm creating a new custom dashboard for deliveries for clients as we start rolling out monthly recurring customer. We're looking for acquisition of monthly customers, not just service-based and or monthly individual services. We're looking for a complete done-for-you situation. So we have a custom dashboard and custom tools that we utilize. In any case, I want to make sure that the inflow to that is how I want it to be. I want it to be very, what's the word? Not bare bones, but what's that word? When there's not a lot of frills and it's not super fancy. What do they call this? There's a name for this. It's a design. It's a type. It's minimalistic, super minimal, gray, light colors, like not a lot, just simple and clean. I just want things simple and clean. So, but that's what I'm doing. That's what I'm working on. That's what I'm focused on. Launching out done for you and done with you type things. On top of that, taking care of my slides. And then 2, rebuilding out a separate store for that type of thing. And then being able to display and automate as much as I can. That's what I'm working on. Thank you for asking. Do you know the best place to get high DR links? The best for you may be different than the best for me, right? Is DR the metric, right? I've worked with numerous clients and customers, friends over the course of time, and is high DR what you're looking for, or is it RD? Right? Is placement of link Like, where is that link placed on the website? How good is the internal linking structure? How close to the root is it? And how many referring domains that are category specific? Is that really what you're after? Or do you just want high DR? If you just want high DR links, I can be more than happy to offer them to you for $4 per unit, and they're DR. That's what you want, right? Maybe for keeping your links indexed, you know, I don't think that's what you're after, my friend. I think that what you're after is high referring domains that are category specific, that are as close to the root as possible with good internal linking. That's what you're after. All right. Hopefully that helps you out. Chris, can you give some content on directories? Can you do some content on directories? Do some content on directories. I did a video not too long ago. What I did is I went to one of the competitors that are out there that build citations and directories at a ultra premium cost. And what I realized is they were outbound linking to all of them, about 2,400 of them to be exact. In any case, I made a video on this. I believe I also shared the list. Every single one, it was broken down by state, by city, by country, by niche, by topic. And there's, I think, 2,300 of them. And in my opinion, regardless of the country, the niche, the category, or where you're at, I want all of those. I'm looking to get, depending on what niche you're in. I mean, I don't know if you want to go completely insane for an appliance repair in some city that only has 2,000 people in it, but hey, you never know. So yeah, I did a video on that. So I hope it helped you out, and I hopefully you can go and check that out. Or there's the idea for you. Go out to who has lists online for directories, for instance, or better yet, who is paying for premium link placements on things like Yelp or Easy Local or Monta or any of these places that charge an ultra premium. Now, why are we looking for competitors or other people that are doing this? Because if they're doing it there and they're willing to pay that, what else did they do? Right? You want to be able to reap benefit off of, because all you're doing is saving time. So find a competitor that's doing it right, bring in their asset, and take a look and see what they're doing. Where are they getting placed? Is there something that you're missing, right? Let someone else's time, because that's what it is, help you. With that also being said, if you want to look for other sites that do lists, pull them in using like Screaming Frog or SEMrush or Ahrefs or whatever you're doing, and look at their outbound link profile, especially if they have a list where they're linking to it, right? That way you could get the whole list all in one shot. I hope that helps you out. All right, South Charlotte, you beat me up on the last time you looked at it. Watched almost every video, getting close. Didn't want to get links until site structure is correct. Thank you for everything. Of course, man. I'm not, and dude, and friend, sir. Listen, I have a lot of websites. You know, even the one, it's just a landing page. My namesake page, right? See, I was always thinking a year ahead. So I knew that I was getting away from my name, especially as AI and AI snippets and all this AI crap. See, in the background, I've been testing to figure out, okay, where are they pulling from? How is this working? How can I get to the top and be perceived much faster and easier? So once I figured out what the process was, I knew I wanted to get away from my name because the process is so easy and it could be used negatively to paint a brand or a person in a negative light. So when I realized this, I want to get away from my name because you only get one name, and I want to go for brand. So what I'm getting at here is it's not that I'm beating you up, right? Like, look at my stuff, right? It's that I know that you want, and I know that you want to do better, right? So I'm not beating you up. I wasn't, that never my objective at all, if that's how you felt. Hey, yo, X Capital, what up? What's goody? How are you, sir? Good to see you. I went on a trip. Where was I? Was I in Scottsdale? I don't know, but we went out to this like dance thing, and never mind. I won't even go over it. But does that shirt look like the guy from Blue's Clues? Because I really like that show. That's what I was aiming for. Plus, his were thicker lines, by the way. Hey, Chris. Hey to you. Hey to you. Wow, you're the most relentless person. I don't know if I like that or if that's scary to me. Oh, my God. Oh. I have a platform in the UK with some high traffic keywords. I'm still a noob with SEO, but with the right start, I think I can dominate some of these keywords. Best tips for 2025. So wait a second. So you have a platform in the UK with some high traffic keywords. So you have a website and for high traffic keywords. See, I'm still a noob with SEO, but with the right start, I think I can dominate some of these keywords. Best tips for 2025. So a general question means to me that you want a general answer, right? Very general here. I have a platform in the UK, but I think with the right start, I can dominate some of these keywords. What's the best tips? Where do I start, dude? Right? Be more specific, I think. But hey, there's no stupid questions, only stupid answers, right? So, general answer for tips to dominate. I think the most general tip that I can give you that will be the most effective will be this. Take a look at who's beating you. Take a look at who's in front of you. Take a look at who has done it already better than you and analyze to the farthest you can. See, take a look at who's beating you with commercial, but also take a look at who's beating you with informational. I think in servicing intent in 2025 is going to be massively important. So taking a look at who's beating you from all fronts, and you can't just say, oh, this is the most dominant. See, I talk to business owners all the time, and they always say this. I'll look at who's actually winning in position, and they'll say, oh, that's not my competitor. And I'll be like, I can't tell, because everywhere I look, they're winning in maps, they're winning in organic. Like, for me, I'm trying to win digitally, right? So what I would take a look at is for your commercial key terms. Let's say that you're a plumber in Fort Myers, Florida, but you also want Cape Coral, Naples, Punta Gorda, Lehigh Acres, right? You want to take all these areas. Look up primary key term plus location. Who's winning the commercial terms? But then start looking for variations of key term, like what's the average cost of a plumber in Lehigh Acres? Average cost of a plumber in Punta Gorda, Cape Coral, right? Who's beating you for high commercial intent? Who's beating you for informational? Then start looking up best of and best lists, top lists, coolest lists, neatest lists, right? Who's beating you on the directory or paid promotional front? See, I want to whack them commercially. I want to whoop them informationally, and I want to beat them like, okay. See, some customers trust other platforms. So that's an intent of a user. So that means I need to service the high commercial intent. Who's going to go past the ads? Who's going to go past the directories? Who's going to go to the organic? Okay, let's see if we can get them. All right, who is looking to buy, but also in an informational phase? I want to service them as well. Then on top of that, there's customers that only trust the big Dundadas. They only trust the Yelp. They only trust the Zillow. They only trust the TripAdvisor. Okay, who's winning and how are they winning? Right? I think analyzing and understanding different intents of your market and then being able to analyze who's winning and then lay yourself out a plan for that and then plan the work and work the plan. And that would be my advice for that, my friend. That's a general answer for a general question. I appreciate you. I don't know if you meant to say that word. We have a question here from Crewman Rugby. So I have an SEO question in regards to this particular type of brand. How can I build more awareness outside of these types of maps? So that's the big player in that particular market. I don't know much about this market, but what I can help you with is see, that's a directory for that particular type of market. So I think that having more service-based locations, because delivery services are pretty prominent depending on where you look. So I know that service area businesses that offer delivery within Google Business Profile can be relatively easy to get service area. The problem with these is that you only take up about a mile circumference. So I think attaching an internal page that's on a singular website to a service business Google Business Profile is one way to be able to get organic traffic. And then be very particular about where you're landing those maps listings. The next element that I would take care of is what are some of the most common questions when utilizing or looking for a particular brand? Like, what is your primary service? What do you sell? And what is the most common questions? Then I would take a look at Reddit, Twitter, YouTube, right? Whoever will allow you to answer these questions. And I would look to create informational pieces of content around those questions and as many dollars as you can afford, pump dollars behind those pieces of creative, whether it's Facebook, whether it's Reddit, whether it's YouTube, whether it's IG, probably not IG, but anywhere that you can accrue data of people that interact with your content that then you can then serve them more advertising, that would be in your best interest. I think it's the acquisition of the customer is going to be the most expensive for you with this type of brand. There's too many players with too many dollars. So it's the acquisition. So once you get somebody to actually engage or interact with your brand, I would torture them until they became a customer. Hopefully that helps you. It's really helpful. Thank you. Okay, thank you. My chief competition has 3 H1s. Just because someone's doing it wrong and winning doesn't mean that that's the best way to go about it. I would take a look at the average of the top 10 or top 5. Just because someone has 3 H1s doesn't mean that you shouldn't have one. I would take a look at the words that are in those 3 H1s. What he's probably doing is he probably has, let's say, for instance, South Carolina services. Let's say that you are a plumber, right? Let's just say, right? I forget your exact business. Oh, I think it's like appliance stuff. But let's just say you're a plumber. So I would venture to guess what this person is doing is they're utilizing the H tags for sizing and they don't know any better. Google is still going to put the most emphasis on these 3 H1s, but what they're probably doing and why they're winning is probably age is the true reason. But let's look at more of an on-page reason. If you take a look at each of those H tags, what you'll probably find if you're a plumber is one says plumber, one says plumbers, and another H tag probably says plumbing, right? It's the variance. So what I would do in this particular case is I would have my title and my H1 on the page that contains those 3 variations of the primary terms that are being rewarded by Google. And that's how I'd handle that. But hopefully it helps you out. Millennial Mom, I would never skip you. I would never, ever forget you. And I would never skip over you. Let me take a look. Let me find you. Oh my God, I did skip you. I'm sorry. All right. We're bringing it back. I didn't on purpose. I'll tell you that. Hey, Chris, should we have additional categories listed in our Google Business Profile besides primary? Good question. In my opinion, no, right? And here's why. When you take a look at a primary category, usually the secondary service category that you want to add can really be encompassed by only one, right? Also, when you take a look at all of the winners, what is the primary category that all of the winners have in common? It's probably the same, or there might be one variation, right? Whatever it is. Is it plumber? Is it chiropractor? I don't recall exactly what you're doing, but with that being said, I would only have one primary category. One primary category. And then when you go over to your services, what you'll notice is Google is going to make it gray. It'll be a darker gray. Now, what has changed in 2025 from past recommendations that I used to give is I would say, hey, leave the services blank. But as time has progressed, skill sets progress, algorithms progress, and so does my recommendation. What I would make sure of is think about your website. I know I can't show examples, so it's hard here, but you have one primary category. You know what your primary category is. You know the services section, right? And you know how it will outline your primary service. It'll say, oh, this is the primary category, and then everything else is custom. Now, previously, I would say leave all that blank and keep deleting everything, but not anymore, right? I've had massive successes by doing this. When you're looking at your website, whatever's on your website, let's just say that you're a plumber. We'll just use, or better yet, let's say that you are a personal injury lawyer, okay? I'm a personal injury lawyer, and in my dropdown, I say, I'm a personal injury lawyer. That's the big broad category. That's my primary category. My services, which are in the dropdown, is truck accidents, car accidents, brain injury, train, car, motorcycle, pedestrian, bicycle, right? Now, I could say that I'm a car accident lawyer. I could say that I'm a bicycle lawyer. I could say all of these things. But instead, it's in my main dropdown, right? We know that Google reads the page that's connected to your Google Business Profile. And how we know this is it will say, hey, the site says this, right? It'll say that in the reviews. Or it also pulls out reviews, all right? I digress. I want to stay on topic here. So the primary category is personal injury. In my main dropdowns, I list all of my services. Also within the body text, I have internal links pointing to my service pages, right? I have millennialmoneymom.com/truck accident lawyer, /truck, /personal. I'm a personal injury lawyer that also does these things. My primary category is personal injury lawyer. Under my services, only for what I have pages for, I list as services verbatim the actual words. For instance, truck accident lawyer. That doesn't mean that in my services I write truck accident lawyer, lawyers, semi-truck attorneys. No, whatever's in my main dropdowns in the A tags, because it's a clickable link going to an actual page, and I have a page that's optimized for this service. That's what I write. For instance, truck accident lawyer, car accident lawyer, brain injury lawyer, pedestrian lawyer, right? In the footer, I have links going to those pages. In the body text, I have links going to those pages. So let's bring it all full circle and bring it back to the answer. The answer, in my opinion, is primary category is one, personal injury. Why? Because it encompasses all that I do. In my services and in my product section, this is where I can further emphasize the services and or the products that I provide. Services are verbatim what I have pages for that I actually provide, right? Because remember, there's white hat warriors. On top of that, there's reviewers. There's actual Google Maps, like people, it'll say, hey, like if anybody interacts with your profile, it'll ask them questions. It always needs to ring true whenever you submit, whether it's a Google person, whether it's somebody reviewing your profile, whatever the case is, I always need it to be the truth, right? Forward facing, because if you're an authority and you're trustworthy and you're the expert, everything's congrusive. Everything is authority. Everything is trusted. You with me? One primary category. In your services, you'll have your main one up at the top, list only what you actually have pages for. Then also over in your product section, you get to pick 4 primary categories. I would have 1, maybe I would have 4 total because you get the enhancement. And then I would link to those individual pages. And that's how I would handle that. And I would never skip over you. Hopefully that helps you out. All right. Are you working in India? Yes. Like, I don't work here permanently, but I'm working here now. Right. But no, I don't live here. Again, I don't know if I mentioned this, but the internet runs at 7 megabits per second. And they don't have sugar-free Red Bull. Need I say more? But the people are super cool. So, you got to take the good with the bad. Moving on. X Capital. Hey, Chris. My e-com site's impressions dropped from 200 to 300 down to 6. And I don't know why. When I check Ahrefs, it said that my robots file is not accessible. Could I have been penalized? I don't feel that the robots file has anything to do with the amount of impressions. However, it can be in your best interest, or general rule of thumb is that you have a robots TXT file that is going to allow Googlebot, Google Mobile, Google Ads. You'll allow everything that you want to allow and disallow other bots that are no good, right? Or whatever you decide. You're also going to allow your sitemap, okay? There's a lot of walkthroughs online that will take you through this process. There's even copy and paste text documents on Reddit. If you go to Reddit, put in, hey, what's the best way I should fill out my robots.txt file? Bada bing, bada boom. Or better yet, go to Ahrefs.com, take a look at their robots file, or go to the Google blog. Google has a blog. When I always have questions, I go and look and see, well, what's Google actually doing? Do they have schema? Do they have image schema? Do they have navigation schema? Do they have a bunch of internal links? Like, what's Google doing? It's always good to follow the king, the chief, or the queen. Who knows? I don't know. Anyway, I digress. So I don't think that the robots TXT file has anything to do with your drop of impressions. And you said impressions, not traffic. Impressions are potential. So this could be due to, did you just release a bunch of pages? Right? Like, is the reason why you got a spike in impressions because you put out a bunch of pages? Or did you do a site refresh? Did something change within the site, or did you produce a bunch of content that produced a bunch of impressions and then it dumped, right? That could be. So I would take a look at what did you recently change? What did you recently submit? Plus, an impression is not traffic. Also, how long ago have you refreshed your site? How long ago have you cleaned up dead wood? How's your internal linking? How's the schema? Like, how is the overall structure and internal linking of the site? And on top of that, how ago have you refreshed things? Also, is your host good? Is your CDN good? Like, start taking a look at some things. But a drop in impressions is going to happen. I wouldn't overly concern yourself with that. You guys want to see India? Hopefully that answers your question. That's it. So it looks like that's a cool thumbnail. In any case, it was a lot of fun driving over here. It takes a long time to get here from the airport too, by the way. It's a drive. Moving on to answer some more questions. It's breakfast time, so I'm very excited. Or is there an issue with the hosting provider? The traffic has dropped to 0, even though the website is new, only 6 months old since launching, and has 0 links. So again, I would really take a look. Yes, hosting, your IP, the CDN that you're using, how unique is the content? How's the internal linking? You haven't done any essential links or foundational link building. I would take a look at that. Take care of your directories, your digital reference points. Do you have social media? Like anything, have you created an ad campaign? Are you using Google's DNS? Are you using Google's email? Are you using Google products? Like, why should Google reward you? Like, I would get on the Google bandwagon, use their mail, be a business owner in their, sign up your organization, like take care of these things. On top of that, do you have all the meta verifications? Do you have meta verification from W3? Do you have it from Facebook? Do you have it from Twitter? Do you have Reddits? I know these seem like small things, but winning sites, look up the top 100 sites on Ahrefs or on Majestic and take a look. Go to Built With, right? I know this sounds crazy, but trust me. Look up Built With. Go to the top performing websites and don't go to PH, the hub, right? Not those type of sites. Look at real sites, dude. Like I pulled in Walmart, Amazon, and take a look at what they do. And what you'll quickly realize is they have every verification under the sun, right? Like they do things differently than we would do. Not differently than me now, but take a look. And that would be one of my recommendations. Then start taking a look at the on page. Like, is your hosting good? Are you hosting your site within the same range that your competition is? Like, are you in the UK, but your site's hosted in the US? That's an issue. Is your site a dot tip when it should be a .com, .net, or .org? That's an issue, right? It could be something very, very small, but take care of those big, main, broad things first. Then start taking a look at your content, your on page, and establishing some foundational links. And I think you'll be on your way. All right. Hopefully that helps you out. T34, that's helpful. Thank you. My pleasure. My chief competition has 3 H1s. Okay. Oh, I went back up to answer the question. Any tips for getting a page re-indexed in Search Console quickly? Have I ever worked on credit repair? I have. Yes, I have, David. You skip me. Age for sure. Yeah, age is the factor that no one ever talks about. Page age is the number one factor that no one ever talks about, in my opinion. Page age matters. It's not site age, it's page age. Have you ever worked with credit repair? I have. A couple times. Okay, 2 times. Literally a couple. Oh, man. Any tips on getting a page re-indexed quickly? Yeah. Freshen up the image. Freshen up schema, freshen up the titles, freshen up about 20% of the body content, and then resubmit and crawl. That's what I would do. Crewman says, hey, could I technically do the same thing under a private website for my business? What you were explaining to Millennial Money Mom? Of course. Absolutely. What I was explaining to her most notably was Google Business Profile optimization, having a primary category, and going through those steps. But yes. South Carolina says, never knew how important the sidebar is. Thanks for bringing it to my attention. Yeah, well, it's the body text. It's the body. So very, very important. Yeah, everything within a page is important, to be quite frank. But the body section has a lot more weight than, say, the foot or the head. Okay. The body is most important, then the header, then the footer. All right. Hopefully it helps you out. Millennial Mom, back to you. Do you like Indian food? I like spicy food. Why did I go there? Oh, I'm here to speak at a conference called SEO in India. So that's the main reason. And do I like Indian food? I like spicy food. Yeah, I do. I don't mind it. Is there any limit on how many widgets you add to it? Is there a safe number? Widgets. So a widget we're talking about WordPress elements, right? I don't believe that there would be any. I've never tested it to say 100%, right? But I don't think there would be a limit. I think as long as the page loads in a reasonable manner, there is a. No, I can't see there being a problem. All right. Don't quote me on that, but I don't think so. Like, I don't know if you should go out there and add. So here, let's look at it this way. when you're submitting your sitemaps, right? What's the limit? 1,000 or 10,000 or something like this? So let's say I wouldn't do more than 10,000. All right. But I don't know for sure. I never tested that. Hey, Chris. Going down here to Walter. I'm sorry. The mouse is giving me a hard time here. Well, the thumb thing. Walter says, hey, Chris, what do you think about CTR optimization and Google's new algo updates? I've done everything right on and off page, and everything is optimized better than my competitors. That I can't say for sure, Walter, right? But user engagement, I had somebody blasting me in the comments because I was calling it social interaction, right? Social interaction to me doesn't necessarily mean just from social media. It means human beings interacting with your asset. So what do I think about CTR optimization? I think that traffic and user engagement is very, very important to your overall success. When you first launch a page, have you ever noticed that when you look at Search Console, it will say that you are ranking on the first page and you just so happen to have a bunch of impressions and maybe 1 or 2 visitors? That first engagement matters a lot to the overall performance of that page, in my opinion. So my thoughts on optimizing for CTR and really what you're asking me is, should you optimize for better user engagement? I do believe so, yes. Verification. I always heard India is polluted. Oh, well, I don't know about that. I mean, it's cool. There is always it's got a fog, but it's cool. I mean, I'm enjoying it. Again, there's 3 things that are very important and near and dear to my heart, which is food, internet, and caffeine. I will say this, though. When I do get a coffee or I do get tea, it's very, very good. You're the best, bro. Thank you, sir. So are you. I'm about to run down and have breakfast. But we're going to do more of these now that I know that it's actually working. I'm very, very happy. I had to postpone some of my consultations because the time zone, I don't know what time it is now. I think it's here. Let me see. I think it's like 7 o'clock at night there. Dude, and like my phone, I have like this Mint Mobile thing. It like doesn't work here. It's freaking horrible. I wanted to talk to Little C, but it wasn't showing me no love. World time. Here we go. So New York, it's 8:30 p.m. So here it's 7 a.m. I'm about to go eat. I'm gonna go and eat. We'll do more of these though, so expect to see me again. Yeah. But here, I'll answer any questions. Get them in while we're here together. Hey, Chris, hope you're good on your journey. I'm doing great on my journey. Thank you. I appreciate you. Oh, it's Michael. What's up, dude? Yeah, I'm doing great. Good to see you. I just realized. Great to see you, Michael. Should I do artificial CTR manipulation? I think you should do everything in your power to keep everything as authentic as possible for as long as you can. Manipulation isn't what you do to get to the top. It's what you do. It's not what you do to get from 20 to page 1. It's what you do to get from number 3 to number 1. And I hope that helps you out. And that's the answer. How many Q&As should we have on our GBP? I've never done more than 50. So I think you should, in my opinion, I know that you should answer all questions that are hyper relevant to brand or service plus location or anything that's very common. So do I think that there's a limit? I've never done more than 50. So there would be 100 interactions or 50 questions total. But it's up to you. I don't know any more than that. Hey, Chris, are driver stacks still a thing, or are they now a liability, and should they be removed to protect sites they link to after recent Google updates. I don't think linking from a Google asset to a website is going to cause you a problem. I can't see how that would be an issue. If Google doesn't trust something, generally it's going to be a neutral or a non-effect. So I wouldn't be overly concerned about that at all. Would I get rid of them? I think that's up to you. It's pretty easy to delete a drive, right? Like a folder. It's easy to move it to the trash. If it makes you feel better or perhaps makes you sleep better at night, go for it. As far as utilizing them, it's not at the top of our list anymore, right? It used to be one of the first things I would look to do. So yeah, that's not really what we do. Thank you. I think that's about where I am now. What agency can help with that? I think that's completely up to you. I would have a chat with Ian about that. Could it help you? Potentially. I don't know exactly where you're at or what you're doing, but it could be one of the things to help you out for sure. I would utilize that. But again, for instance, if you're saying, hey, Chris, I think there's a difference between having a large scale operation where I might use 2 or 3 seats in order to influence ranking, along with that, introduce mobile impressions from a network that I own. I think that's different than just signing up and you doing it. So again, I'd have a chat with Ian, and he would be the best guy to ask about that tool. And Tammy, what's up? Tammy or Dave, great to see you. Shout out from Tammy. Great to see you guys. Awesome. I got the whole team in here, baby. Well, a couple of members of the team. We got Michael. We got Tammy. We got Dave. Great to see you. This is helpful for me to ease out some things, take it easy for a little bit, but great to see you. I think I'm going to go have breakfast, and here will be the last one. We will come back and do this. I don't know. Let me know in the chat. Has it been choppy? I know I'm only doing 720. How's the stream? Is it okay? Is it horrible? Can you hear me good? Let me know, because I'll definitely come back on and do this again. As you know, I enjoy doing this, so that's why I do it. Does post really matter, or should I point them to the core pages then 410? Do post really matter? I don't know what you mean by do posts really matter, but if we're talking about a Google business profile, let's just say that we are, okay? Posts within the Google business profile, in my opinion, you should set those up 2 to 3 times per day. You can do it 3 times per day. You could do more, but let's just say it's 3 a day, I believe. Morning, afternoon, and night. There's numerous reasons why I won't get into all of this, but what I will say is if we do morning, afternoon, and night, and you could schedule this with tools, what I would do is I would get all of your high commercial intent pages, maybe even informational pages. So let's just say that you are a plumber, and you're a plumber in 10 different cities. If I can do 3 a day, so let's just say I have 10 cities and I'm a plumber, right? Monday, I do city 1, 2, 3. Tuesday, I do 4, 5, 6, right? Wednesday, I do 7, 8, 9, and then just keep going through the cycle. This way, in a month's time, you're probably hitting all of your high commercial intent pages with a new post from your Google business profile. Like, just get yourself on a rotation and hit those pages once a month. Like, talk about your services, talk about the locations you provide those services, and send a link from Google over. That's my recommendation. All right. So I'm going to cut it here. We've been going for an hour. It's been an absolute pleasure. I'm going to go and have breakfast. Stream's good. Oh, thank you. Awesome. Yeah, I'm going to go and eat. I'm starving so bad. You don't even know. But thank you so much for your time. I'm glad to hear that it sounds good. You mentioned in one of your video pages better than post. Video quality and audio are good. Thank you so much. Video pages better than post. Got it. Pages are better than posts. You're talking about WordPress. It's not better. I just prefer. But whatever you decide to go with, if it's posts, great, run with post. If you're going to go page, then run with page. For me, I use pages. I never use posts. It's not that they're better. They're the same. It's the same identical thing. But there is some built-in functionalities that post uses that I don't like, right? So that's why. All right. I don't use tags. I don't use categories. I don't use any of that stuff. I use pages, and then I use parent-child. That's it. All right. So now that I understand your questions, I hope that helps you out. Last question, I assume. Hey, Chris, last question. Okay. E-Hostinger versus Cloudways. I use Cloudways. Cloudways is DigitalOcean. DigitalOcean was bought by Amazon, I think. So for me, it's not an either or an or. I don't want to disparage against someone's service. I'm sure they spent a lot of time, effort, and sweat equity to build that brand. So it's just for me, I would rather play, if I'm going to host my stuff, I want to host it on either Amazon, Google. I want it to be on a top tier. This is just my opinion. All right. So if I'm standing in line with 1,000 people, I want it to be the creme de la creme. I don't want to be standing at the bottom. Right. So I think that a lot of your technical and security issues can be squashed by having high quality hosting. So hopefully it helps you out. It's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you so much for your time. I'm Chris Palmer with Gray Hat SEO, coming pretty soon, or chrispalmer.org, SEO Mastermind, and Proxy Pixie. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your questions. I'm going to go have breakfast. I love you guys, gals. That's the hut. Here, I'll show you guys quick. This is what India looks like. And I guess they do have quite a fog, but it could be morning. There you go. I'm in the business suite. Prod hooked me up with a good room. I was going to stay till the 15th. Between us, I don't know. Today I speak. I might fly to Dubai. Don't tell anybody. I love you guys. Thank you so much. I love you guys. I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.